Hi everyone, today we're going to make banana bread. It's a quick bread, and a quick bread is a type of bread that is made without yeast. And you're going to rely on other things like baking powder or baking soda to be your rising agent. For this recipe it's a bigger batch. I have 2 cups of shortening, I have 2 cups of sugar, 4 eggs, 4 cups of sifted flour, 2 teaspoons of baking soda, and I have about 6, maybe 7 bananas mushed in here. What I like to do is when I buy bananas, I take the very last one at the end of the week and I throw it in the freezer. And then when I get enough collected, that's when I do my big batches of banana bread. I usually wait till I have about 20 bananas, but I'll do a smaller batch today. So the purpose of each ingredient, there's a science to each thing. Flour itself, I talked about it in another video, that's the protein and it makes up the bulk of the bread. It's the structure to it. The shortening acts, it coats that flour and it acts as a just a binding agent and it adds some smoothness and a rich texture. The sugar itself, it adds a sweetness to the recipe. There's a Maillard reaction to it, so there's some caramelization that helps with the browning of the bread. The eggs itself, again, that's another type of protein, but that acts as a binding agent. Sometimes in recipes, especially if I'm making things like, cornbread, instead of using eggs as that binding agent, I will substitute half of banana for each egg, but that's another video itself. The baking soda, again, that's going to be our leavening agent in this recipe. You do need an acid with it. So the acid in the bananas is going to counteract with the baking soda, and it's going to create some carbon dioxide, and it's going to be give that light and fluffy flavor. I'm just going to pause for a moment while I rearrange the kitchen. All right, so I'm going to cream. Guess what? Accidents happen. Nobody is perfect. Okay. We're going to put our shortening into our mixer and our sugar, and we're going to cream those. And what that means is we're going to mix them until they're light and fluffy. It takes a couple of minutes. I use the paddle attachment for this. You don't want to use the whisk. The whisk is more for things like egg whites and making things light and airy. Since this is more of a harder substance, or a thicker substance rather, you don't want to use your paddle. Okay, we're going to whip that until it's light and fluffy. All right, so the sugar and the shortening creamed very nicely together. I had some technical difficulties when adding the eggs. I didn't realize I hit stop instead of record. Geriatric millennial. I guess I'm not on the ball today. Dropping my shortening, hitting stop instead of record. What the ingredients are in. I put the eggs in. Those are just incorporating nicely. One thing I did want to mention, if you're in a professional setting or if you're at school, you drop your ingredients on the counter, get rid of them. You don't know what's on that. You could cross-contaminate. Today I'm at home. I literally just sanitized my counter and I'm the only one in here. Okay, so we've got creamed eggs, creamed shortening and sugar, 4 eggs. Okay, we've got the flour and baking soda. I'm going to put that in there. Incorporate that. And I'm just going to add a little bit at a time. Okay. What you don't want to do is pour it all in, turn it on full. It's going to explode everywhere. Well, dust will be everywhere. It'll be a bigger mess to clean. I just have it on stir and a low speed. You don't want to overmix. There is a pour attachment for this. I never use it. There is the rest of it. Make sure you're locking your mixer. Turn that up a bit. And we're going to add the bananas next. I just want to make sure nothing is stuck to the sides. Make sure that bottom is mixed. Perfect. Add your bananas. Okay, and at this point, if you want to add something like chocolate chips or walnuts, that's when you would incorporate that. All right, everything's incorporated nicely. It's a beautiful batter. Again, when you're done with using the mixer, just scrape along the sides and the bottoms just to make sure that everything is incorporated. Okay. This will make 2 cakes, or I should say not cakes, but loaves if you're using a loaf pan. You could use cupcakes. We're going on vacation and I always bring banana bread for breakfast, so I use these slightly larger containers. Okay, if you're using cupcakes, you're going to want to use, or I should say muffin pan, you're going to want to use an ice cream scoop. I'm going to be using a ladle just because of the size. I know how much goes into each one. Okay. One thing you want to make sure that you do is make sure that you oil and flour the pans that you're using. Okay, I'm just going to put these up here. You can use a little bit of shortening or butter. You rub it around the outside with a cloth, and then you put some flour in there, and then you shake it around to make sure it's coated nicely. That'll stop it from sticking. I left this one in here just so as a reminder of me to show you. I let my daughter help me. She put too much butter. You don't want that. What's going to happen is when you cook it, these flour clumps are going to get stuck to the bottom of your pie, or pie, not pie, muffin. Alright, so now I have them all filled. You want to fill them up about 2/3 of the way, 3/4 of the way. You want to make sure that they're all the same amount in each container. That'll help you control the bake time a little bit more. I have the oven preheated to 325, and these are going to go in for about 18 to 20 minutes, and then I will check them at that point to see whether they need to stay in a bit longer or if I can plop them out. And make sure you put it on a middle rack. Alright, so I've pulled these out of the oven. You're looking for a beautiful golden color. Also what you can do is you can stick a toothpick in. If that comes out clean, then you know it's done. You can see, well, maybe you can't see that. You can see how it's risen a bit. Okay, that's from that baking soda being that leveling agent. It's gone up about, I'd say about 2 to 3 centimeters from the center. Okay, what we're going to do now is transfer these immediately to a cooling rack. Okay, I have them on the cooling rack cooling. I just have one flipped upside down just to show you. It pops right off. Okay. It's a beautiful little I don't know if I want to call it a little banana bread or a giant banana muffin. And inside, beautiful, nice, airy, very soft texture. Bon appetit!